I'll go ahead and there. It should be asking you about the recording.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you do many of these Zoom interviews?
Well, not so many with Canada or the States, but it's been a little bit Latin America and yeah, a few. It's
Yeah.
not like every week. It's every other month, though, I would say.
Well, it's a nice way that we can keep in touch. And I'll be using it in the future for podcasting because now I can have a chance to talk to somebody like yourself who's in Stockholm, right?
Yes, that's true.
Perfect. And I want all the folks to know who are listening that, Kayo, you're very successful as an artist in television and in theater. You've taken so many career paths, and we want to share that with our North American listeners. So one thing I wanted to ask you about is the Nordic Beat Scene. Is that a
Oh,
genre? Is that a genre on its own? Because I hadn't heard of it before until I was doing my
well,
research.
yes, I hear you have. Nordic Beat was, I guess, the start of the Swedish R&B and soul scene, so to speak. It doesn't really, or it's evolved now. We don't call it Nordic Beat anymore, but I would say that that was the start of Swedish music for export. Does that make any sense? Because before the 90s, we didn't really have R&B and soul, and also getting into that whole politic about race and stuff, like the Afro-Swedish community in Sweden, they were like kept a little bit in the shadow, and there was mostly pop music. So when the R&B scene started growing, you would see like collaborations and lovely like mixes going on. So that was the start of something really, really beautiful, I think. I think you just call it like Swedish export nowadays.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, because I guess if everything seemed in North America anyways, it seemed like ABBA was all it was really talked about, right?
Yeah, that was the big one, right?
And I'm a big fan of Swedish songwriting. There's like something in the water in Sweden
It,
that makes
it
people
is.
like so good at writing pop hooks and worldwide
Yeah,
hits. So, what do you
yeah.
think that is?
I think that Sweden is a small country, and we have um, we have a very large community of middle class, which means that a lot of families could afford to buy a synthesizer at a very young age. You would send your kids to communal piano lessons and stuff like that. And it wouldn't cost anything, like, and you would get a cell phone at the age of 10. All of these things that Sweden as a country, it's been a welfare country in many ways. So to create music at an early age with the right equipment was available for us. So I think that's a part of it, that you would be able to go and have your piano lessons at the age of 6 and started to create stuff and still be able to go to school for free and all of these things. I think that,
Yeah,
you know,
that
I would say
totally
that
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of countries people don't they like the schooling doesn't have a lot of money and the music programs get the brunt of that. So
Yes.
the creativity it kind of gets halted. So what you're saying totally makes sense.
Yeah. So we're blessed in so many ways. And maybe also, I mean, I think every country has that specific sound for folk music, and Sweden maybe had, the Swedish young musicians had a chance to mix that in a beautiful way that appealed to other parts of the world. Like we're appealed to Latin American music, but we've had a very big love to the American and the North American music, of course, because with, you know, the film and the TV and all of these things that that we had access to. I would say.
Yeah. The influence was there, but I'm really excited to hear about the music that you're making and what you've been doing over the years too. So, how did you originally become a part of Le Click in the beginning?
Oh, that's a really funny story. The first version of the click was a guy called Robert, and God, it's so early in the morning. The lady that sings in La Bouche, they were the part of Le Click to begin with. She was then headhunted to La Bouche. So, but the song Tonight is the Night had already been recorded and launched. So all of a sudden, a couple of radio stations in the States, I think it was like Florida or something, they started playing this song, and then all of a sudden they didn't have a singer. So all of a sudden, two record guys from Germany, Logic Records, they had connection with the Swedish Nordic Beat Scene, Swemix and Dennis Pop and all of these guys. So they called them and said, do you have a singer that could like jump on this project really fast? So I get a phone call from my A&R, and he says, I have two guys who wants to meet you. And so I said, okay, I'll go. And we had a coffee, and they asked me 3 questions. This is the funniest. Are you married? No, I'm not. Do you have children? No. Are you single? I'm like, yeah. Can you leave in a week's time? I'm like, okay. So I was like, yeah, why not? So in a week's time, I went to Germany, recorded new vocals for Tonight is the Night. And another week, I went home packed, and then I went straight to the States. And that's that's the story of the click. Yeah.
What a whirlwind.
Yeah.
So you're just immediately in the US. Is this the first time you've traveled overseas at this point?
I've been there. I had been to New York a few times as a tourist. I had a few friends there, of course, but never worked or in any other fashion, you know, visiting the other side of the world for me. So that was super exciting. But I ended up staying for 2 years, toured all over, and of course in Canada. And it was amazing. Because since you contacted me, I thought a lot about my gigs and the shows that I did in Canada, and that those shows will stay for me. They will stay with me forever, because the audience in Canada was by far the most amazing shows and audience. No lie.
The energy, right?
Yes.
Like we have an insane energy here. We really appreciate when people come to see us.
Yeah, and the love and the politeness and the beautiful country and the cities that I had. I went to Toronto a couple of times, and a few other cities, but I was so well, you know, treated, and there was so much love. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to get back into the touring business again in this country. There was a 90s nostalgia tour that just came through in the summertime with like Aqua, Hadaway, Two Unlimited, all those guys were here. So it's getting back. It's happening again. It's exciting.
Yay, finally.
Now,
I mean, this whole situation.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just thinking about the whole situation that we've been living with for the past 2 years has been crazy. And I just feel the energy of people really wanting to get back, and, you know, and I guess the creativity that has been cooking, you know, because you had to stay at home, or, you know, maybe you had a home studio or whatever, or traveling, you know, go back and forth to your small hubs and create. So there's a lot of stuff coming out now, I guess.
Oh yeah, some artists have wrote like albums and albums in the last year and a half, right? So
Yeah,
it's good to see. It's good to see that they use that time wisely. And it was easy to get interviews during that time because everybody was at home.
exactly. And like wanting to connect with their listeners and their audience and fans and stuff. So the internet is a good thing.
I think so. I think so. I was going to say, what was one of your most memorable performances that you did? Whether it be a TV show or a live show in an arena, what was a couple shows maybe that you really stand out in your mind?
I would definitely say that it was one of the shows that I did in Canada in Toronto. And it was early on during my first year with Le Click. And I was still like, I guess, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Being in a new like country and being the culture, everything was new to me. And I had two Swedish lady dancers with me. And we did a radio show in Toronto. And so I think I was the last to perform, which was like super cool. I was like, wow, maybe I'm the head here, you know? And so we did our songs and went backstage, and the audience, I mean, it was maybe 30,000 people, could not stop calling out my name. And I was like, to the point where I almost got scared because I had never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
They were like, Kayo, the click. And it just went on for minutes. And I was like, oh my God. So, and I looked at my young, like, girls, the ladies that I have, and they were looking at me like, so what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go out? What are you gonna do? We don't have any more songs. So let's go, you know. And we went out and we redid, I think, Tonight Is the Night and Call Me. And it was, to this day, the most extreme happiness and joy. And I was just looking at them and crying like, oh my God, this love. So yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, that feeling must be just so heartwarming.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure I say your name properly because it's Kayo, right?
Yeah. I mean,
okay. Do people say Kayo by accident all the time?
Yeah. And it's super fine with me because in the States, a lot of people say Kayo, and in Sweden, they say Kayo. So it's fine.
Whatever you like. I get it. People say Naomi instead of Naomi.
Are you see? So
I just accept both. I'm good. Okay. As long as you're talking to me, I'm fine.
It's an honor, my dear Naomi.
What other places have you been able to travel to doing music that like brought you joy, like places like bucket list destinations?
Actually, I did 2 years ago. I had the opportunity, because I had to turn it down a few times because I was acting here in Sweden, to go to Peru. That was amazing. And then of course I stayed and went to Machu Picchu and experienced that whole spiritual journey. That was amazing. So that was definitely a bucket list for me. Check. Yeah. We've done a lot of really cool places that I would never be able to go to if it wasn't for Le Click, and also La Bouche, of course, that I've been a member of as well. So it's been, oh my God, I don't even know where to start, but Latin America, a lot of places in Eastern Europe, and the States, of course, and Canada. So for this, this music took me all over the world. Mm-hmm. The only place, Russia. I mean, we've been everywhere. Yay!
But it's probably like, it's good when you can make the time to sightsee and take everything in. Because I know a lot of people say when they're in the music business that you don't have time.
No,
you don't have time to actually go out and see everything.
No, you don't. I mean, you're in and out in a day, 24 hours. But I would say that at least you get a hint of, I need to come back here, you know?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I remember going to Puerto Rico in the States, and I was like, oh my God, I have to come back here. This is so beautiful, and the people were so amazing, and the food and everything. I still haven't been able to go back, but it's on my bucket list. So seeing it as a positive thing, that at least you get also immediately to meet the people that from the country, instead of being there as a tourist, which is completely different, you know. So you do get an insight, and you get to ask questions like, so if I would stay longer, where would you have me go, and stuff like that. So it's amazing. I am not complaining.
It's good stuff. I'm
It
gonna have to have you back on the show in a few months, and we can do a show about La Bouche, hey? Like later.
Yeah, for
That'd
sure.
Now going back to the click questions, I was going to say, do you still connect with Robert Haynes at all?
Robert is actually, we can't find him. He's gone. And even with Facebook and all the social media channels, we can't get hold of him. And really, I mean, that's a really weird situation to be in, because I've even been connected with people that he, you know, it's ASCAP, and, you know, there's money for him to pick up, but I don't know where he is. Maybe he went back to the States, or and just like totally left the business. And so
it's common, like that happens, where they just decide to
it
just live a
is
peaceful, quiet life and go from there.
maybe. And I mean, he was a personality that he used to be in the army, of course, but I think that he was like a more homebound kind of personality. So that's very possible that he just said like, okay, let me just leave this and go plant my plants, and, you know, walk in my yard or whatever. So who knows?
Could be. Have you heard of the Canadian DJ Chris Shepherd from back in the 90s and early 2000s?
Yes.
He's the same thing. Nobody knows where he is.
Wow.
The same thing. So I had people on the show, and I was asking them, do you know where he is? Like, we did a whole episode. We talked to the girl who used to be singing with him in BKS and Love Inc., Simone Denny. He doesn't know where he is when she was on the show. So, but yeah, it's like, that could be it. They just, you know, settled down.
Yeah, they're done.
It.
Yeah. No. Go do something else. And as long as they're healthy and happy, that's the most important thing, of course.
Amen.
You know, yeah, amen to that. Wow.
In 1998, now I understand that you did a single with the group LFO called If I Can't Have You.
Yes, I did. That's right. Was that in 98?
That is what my research says. But yeah, actually, Brad from LFO is going to be on the show in a few weeks. So how did you guys get hooked up to make this song?
Oh, my amazing record label boss called Kelly Schweinsberg. May she rest in peace. She passed in 2004 or 5. She was she became my best friend, but she was also like, she loved the business, and she got hold of LFO, and she said, why don't we do a collab? So that was totally her doing. They wanted to become a little more like European dance music, but I guess, without stepping on any toes, I hope that they were more like to the hip hop and R&B scene. So I think that Kelly said, let's do a collab and get the dance music and the hip hop scene and see how that works. And it was an amazing experience, of course. Cool guys. I haven't seen them since, but very cool guys. And I love the song.
Yeah.
Since I'm a 70s girl as well, you know, Saturday Night Fever. Hey, you know.
gonna say 2002, we're talking about Eurovision, which is something that is somewhat of an enigma to North America because we don't know much about it. It's like European football.
Yeah.
To us, it's like we have no idea, except there was a Netflix movie that Will Ferrell made, and
Yes.
everyone thinks that's what Eurovision is now. So
Okay.
tell me about your experience with Eurovision.
Eurovision is something that is in our DNA. It's been around since, I guess, the 50s in Sweden and big parts of Europe. A beautiful thing, I guess, to begin with, just to connect countries through music. So every year, everybody would sit down and watch the Eurovision or the Swedish contest. What song are we sending to the Eurovision song contest? So it's in our DNA. I kind of thought it was kind of cheesy, you know, growing up, like, okay, the music was Schlager, very Swedish pop in a cheesy way. So I stopped watching it, you know, growing up from the teens and getting back into other things. But at 2002, the Eurovision also in Sweden said, like, okay, we need to do something new because we're losing viewers and all of that. So they remade the whole concept, and they connected with me and two of my colleagues and offered us a song. And we said, okay, if we're going to do it, we want to do it our way. So we want to produce the song, and we want to be, you know, involved in the whole process. So we redid the song to a more like 80s disco kind of song, and, you know, with the glitter and everything. And that had never been heard of in the Eurovision. It was very like folkish and maybe jeans and a t-shirt, you know, kind of thing. So the people, when we went on TV with that, they were like, what the heck is going on? And we won. So they sent us to the Eurovision, and that was, it had a huge impact, Naomi, because it was the first time that 3 Swedish ladies was in the contest ever. Because we're not that many over here, you know, we're more now, but when we grew up, we were like 20. So that it was people were in shock, like, oh my goodness, it's a disco song and it's performed by 3 Black girls, and they were like, what the hell are we going to do with all of this information? So but it was very well received, and they sent us to Estonia, and we came 7th or 8th, which is great. And that song lives on today. People are like playing it every year, every, you know, reoccurring event of the Eurovision. They're like, oh, Afro-dite and blah, blah, blah. So
Afro-dite,
they're really famous. Yeah.
That was the group that you guys established together. Was it just for the contest, or have you continued to make music with Afro-dite?
We have. We work together. We're still super friends, and we do shows, and we perform that song, of course. But we're different because Gladys Del Pilar, she's into musicals, and Blossom, the other lady, she's into health and fitness. So she's doing they're all doing successes in their own fields now. But then all, you know, we come together and do shows, but we haven't been making music for the past 10 years, I think. But we've been living good off of that song, lady, you know. So.
Yeah. That's what you always hope for. Absolutely.
Yeah, that one song. I mean, if you get to do that, it's such a blessing. We're so grateful for that. And yeah, so we're carrying on the disco tradition here in Sweden.
No matter what, you'll always be, that song will be a part of your life. You'll be playing it forever.
Yes.
And that's all right.
It is. God, it's a blessing. My goodness. Wow.
Yes. Now, you've done it all. You're an actress. You've been in movies and theater. do you prefer getting the extra takes when you do acting as a movie actress, or do you prefer live theater?
Gosh, I would say that it's so different, because when you do the movie thing, they really want you to nail it in that first 1 or 2 takes, you know. And the preparation is so different. Maybe you get a week or a couple of days to rehearse that scene, over here at least. But when you're in the theater, we rehearse for 8 weeks. We dig deep into that script and really analyze it, and you know, and you get to have maybe an impact or have thoughts about the character and stuff like that. So I think I prefer theater. And girl, you get to do it over and over again, and you know, like twist it and tweak it and get better and better. So yeah, theater is my thing.
And become that person more deeply that way.
Yeah. Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do the same play for about 100 times, of course you get tired of it, but you do get the chance to like, okay, so what's your mood today?
That's
So
so
that's
cool.
cool.
And you
It
DJ, and do you still have a nightclub?
I haven't had time to run a nightclub, but actually since COVID now is like settling down, we hope. So I'm getting requests like, please come on, girl, you know, open a club. You can just for like one night a month at least.
We need to dance.
I know. So I'm really thinking about it. Maybe for next year, because my brother is a DJ as well and a rapper. So we kind of team up, and we have a good crowd, so we can fill a place if we do it. But it's, you know, you got to do it good. You got to prepare and get the place and the merchandise and all of that going. So maybe.
It could be fun. It probably will be.
I mean, mentally and emotionally, I can't wait, but it's just like a timeline thing. But you got me thinking again. Maybe I shall.
So there's so many things that your path might take now, right? Going back into post COVID life. There you go. So like, if you were to pick a song that you wrote or released or performed that never became like the single, maybe more like a deep cut, which one would be your favorite? Which one would you choose to make a release as a single?
Actually, it would be a song from the Le Click album, which I love. And I think also because I am a DJ, and you know, I've DJed for many years, I love the spectra that you can I mean, I'm curious, and I love drum and bass, and I love reggae, and there's so many different styles that I love. So Heaven, that's my favorite song, and I would love to have that re-released. Heaven's Got to Be Better. I love that song.
I'll play a clip of it here on the show for everybody.
Yay!
I love doing that. So I always want to know which songs the artist wanted to get out there, you know, because a lot of times it was the record companies making the decisions.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it's good to know which ones your favorites are.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the obvious for so many reasons, but that song touched me in a special way.
Nice. So now, since you have so many things on the go, what are your goals lying ahead? Are you still going to be making music, or are you going to be doing more acting? What's the hope and the goal?
The hope is to do more music. It's been great to be able to do a lot of acting for the past 5 years, but I do miss the music. So actually, me and Lane McRae and Bouche, we recorded a cover of an old Alexander O'Neill song, and Sherelle, Saturday Love. So we're having Stonebridge doing a remix of it. So we hope to release that. because Lane wants to do more collabs with different female singers with Bouche, and since we have a proper history, of course, so, and we miss each other, so that's on the agenda for sure. And me and my brother are thinking of recording a few new Le Click songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And see where that takes us. And he's a beautiful producer. So there's a few little things cooking there. It's just a matter of getting the time to connect with Lane and my brother, and you know, because now I have an opening on African American play that's premiering for the first time in Sweden. So we're opening in a week's time. So I've been rehearsing that for 8 weeks. And then prior to that, I did a couple of other theater pieces. So it's just a matter of time, but more music, definitely. Okay. It's coming up.
What's the
and
play
doing
called?
Shows, you know, traveling a little bit, and you know, I would love to come back to Canada and
Yes.
you know, perform and meet fans, get a little touch of that love.
We'll be here waiting for you with all the love in our hearts. But I was going to say, what's the name of the play so people out there can go and see
the play that we're doing is called Mountaintop. And it's written by a lady called Katori Hall, and it's about Martin Luther King's last night before he got assassinated. Okay. So he meets an angel of death who prepares him to go to heaven. So it's really interesting, and I'm playing the angel, obviously.
Wow.
But it's been really cool too, and we're doing it at the big Royal Theater here in Stockholm. So that's a big thing for me.
Well, all the best to you and your new performance, and I hope it goes smashingly well. Before we wrap things up, talking about Le Click and everything else that you've worked on, this is a 90s show. We want to know what kind of toy or food or clothing item makes you nostalgic for the 90s.
Oh, wow.
Take your time. I can always edit. It's a loaded question.
I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with the buffaloes, the shoes.
Buffalo shoes. I'm going to Google those. I'm Googling them right now because I want to see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering, do we have them here?
Yes, you did back in the day.
Okay, once I see it, I'm probably going to be like, okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. Thick sole.
Remember?
So it's like a sneaker with a thick sole.
Yeah.
They must be comfy.
They were. I don't wear them anymore, but I did a lot of shows in those shoes. I had them in light blue and light pink and all kinds of colors. But it was kind of like walking around with bricks under your feet, but it was kind of cool too. So I have a love-hate relation to those, but something that I do miss.
Are they hard to dance in then if they're so heavy?
No, they weren't that heavy, actually. I don't know what they were made of, some kind of foam or something. So they weren't that heavy, but they were clumsy in a sense.
Man, I want some now because I never had these. I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, the young kids started using them again. So I guess there's like a, thing going on. Oh God, there's a chat here going on. But what else do I miss? I do miss the big hoops, like Do the Right Thing, the movie, the clothes and the style. I can get back to that.
Yeah. I never let hoops go away, actually.
See?
They look great. They always will.
Yeah.
I keep them.
You see? Never left, never leaving. For sure. Well, that's a spontaneous answer, but if I do remember anything, I'll email you like, oh, this.
Everybody check. Yes. I love it. So yeah, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
I did, and you brought me back, girl, and in
Good.
the best of ways. And thank you so much for, connecting and wanting to talk to me. I'm grateful and blessed for that, really.
You're a blast to talk to. I will I had so much fun. Thank you.
Good, good, good,
Um,
good, good.
but actually, no, maybe I can contact you through email in a couple of months and we can talk again when it's convenient for you, and we'll do a show about La Bouche
Yes, for sure.
if you have the time.
Definitely.
That would be
Yeah, and
wonderful.
Lane is, he's busy and releasing a lot of things. So maybe we can do a threesome or whatever.
Yeah, let's set that up as long as he's down to
Yeah.
do that, and then we can talk about all the new stuff coming out and some of the good memories too from the past, and then the new. It'll be great.
Yes. Let's do it.
Okay, I'll be sure to
Super.
email you when it's time to set that up.
Yeah, and I'll connect with Lane and say that we've got something cooking, you and me.
Yeah, and then so we can get it out here to Canada. That way, when it's time to tour again.
Oh yeah,
We'll get them
I'm ready. Me
Okay,
too.
sweet. So this one's going to come out in about a month and a half. I'll tag you in all the
Okay.
social media and I'll send you an email ahead of time just to remind you.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
Lovely.
So
Okay.
have a Merry Christmas too.
Yes, you too. And enjoy the snow.
Oh, it's here already.
There
Oh,
you go. Yeah.
it's already like this deep.
Okay. Yeah,
Ugh.
we just got a little bit like a week ago, but I think you win the contest for sure.
Mhm. It's like the only thing I don't like about living in Canada is the temperatures and the snow, but everything else
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah, it's like Sweden. Yeah.
You gotta
But
try.
it's okay. We can live with it, right?
Mhm. All the other good things make it worth it. So yeah.
See. Okay,
Okay.
so have a lovely Sunday and get some sleep and all
Okay,
that
I'll go
good
to bed
stuff.
now.
Yeah, good, good, good.
All right, you
Okay,
take care.
thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.